Drupal VM is a VM for local Drupal development built with Vagrant and Ansible. One of the nicest things about using a virtual machine for your development is that you can use the same development environment whether you're on a Mac, Windows, or Linux computer. To get started on a Windows PC, in this case I'm running Windows 10, all you need to do is download Drupal VM. And once it's downloaded, extract the zip file. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And here it is. I'll rename it to Drupal VM. And now I have the files that make up the Drupal VM in this folder. So next I'm going to look at the Quickstart guide, which is linked. If I go to Getting Started, I go to the Quickstart guide, and it gives instructions for how to set everything up. So first you install Vagrant. I already did that. You can go to vagrantup.com to download it and install it. And then download the folder, which we just did. And then in your terminal, in my case I'm going to be using the terminal cmder, but you can also use cygwin or you can use git bash a few different ways. You want to cd into that directory and run vagrant up. So I'm going to open up cmder. And I'm going to go into my desktop folder, and I'm going to go into Drupal VM, and then I'm going to type vagrant up. And by default what this will do is download the latest version of an Ubuntu Linux virtual machine. And once it does that, it will start configuring everything inside with all the software that's needed to run Drupal. By default it'll install the latest version of Drupal 8 for you, but you can change everything about the VM, including the software that's installed like Solar and Varnish, and all the extra accessories that you have like Node.js and Ruby for different kinds of front-end build tools. You can customize everything down to and including the way that you install your Drupal site, using multi-site or having a site installed by Composer or Drush Makefile. In this video I'm just going to show you how you set up the basic Drupal 8 install. And at this point, since this takes a while, I'm going to mute myself and speed up the video so that you don't have to wait the 5 to 10 minutes that it takes to set everything up. Once Vagrant is finished provisioning the VM, you can go in your browser and go to drupalvm.dev, which is the default host name that's set up. And after a few seconds, Drupal 8 will load the first time ever, and you should have a page where you can log in and visit your Drupal 8 website. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that Vagrant lets you do a lot of flexible and powerful things for local development environments. I didn't have to edit my hosts file to get drupalvm.dev to point to my Drupal VM because I have a plugin installed inside of Vagrant. If I get on here, Vagrant plugin list. You can install this plugin using the Vagrant plugin command, and I installed Vagrant plugin Vagrant hosts updater, and it will automatically manage your host file for you based on the VM that you're bringing up and the host name. There's a lot more options that you can configure. All that you have to do is create a config.yaml file, config.yml, and place it in the same folder, and you can override any option inside default.config.yaml. One of the best things to do if you're on Windows is to either use a Drush Makefile or change the way that you're sharing your folder from your local machine into the VM, because there's some issues on Windows with performance of the shared file system. There's a lot more documentation on how you can use Drupal VM on Windows effectively if you go to docs.drupalvm.com and scroll down on the left side to the Windows notes. It talks about how you can set up your command line environment optimally, ways to get better speed out of your synced folders, how to deal with symbolic links if your project needs to use symbolic links, how you can use Git effectively, all kinds of things like that, based on a lot of work that we've done with lots of different environments running Windows. One of the most important things is if you get an error the first time you try bringing up Drupal VM and it says something about the processor or something's not turned on or enabled, a lot of times it's your system's BIOS or EFCI, whatever the settings are when you boot up your PC. You need to make sure that the Intel VTX virtualization support is enabled. That way VirtualBox can boot up your VM successfully. If you have any issues, please leave an issue in the Drupal VM issue queue, and that's pretty easy. If you have an account on GitHub, you can just go to the Drupal VM project, click on Issues, and create a new issue, and ask for help, or if you have any suggestions for making it faster, please leave those, and we'll do our best to help those things get into Drupal VM's next version.